Alright, response video to Pyro on the subject of virtual reality.
Debating that. We're debating whether someone would have a reason to still want to be in reality. You know, would the VR be so good that you wouldn't want to do anything else? And I'll even grant you that, let's say we can put in this VR world everything that we have of our current world, you know, everything that I enjoy. Forget the mundane part, forget that. The part that I would enjoy, we can get that all in. Fine. What we can't get into the VR is anything that humans don't already know.
Yeah, well, that's a pile of crap, alright? You'd still go in with your imagination and your creativity. So there'd be plenty of opportunity to expand knowledge and understanding by modeling in all kinds of different and unique ways. We could even do hate to bring up another Star Trek episode, but we could even do the Spock's brain kind of thing where we could simulate an environment, a challenge for a brain that would be more like the brain could control events through a medium that would be more entertaining than doing the exact control function. So in the Star Trek episode, Spock's brain was used to control the atmospherics of a complex, you know, to control the temperature and do all these other things. And from his perspective, he was running his body when he was actually running a machine. And we could do the same kind of simulation. So we could find, if the point was to glean some productivity out of virtual reality, we certainly could glean some productivity out of it. And I'm sure there will be people who'd want to pursue that kind of stuff. They have a deep enough passion to want to model atoms for eternity or whatever. That couldn't be their choice. Our argument on virtual reality is a very specific point. All right, it's, to me, you can't even think of going there unless you make it's an all or nothing commitment. And if the outside world is going to be able to maintain excessive population growth and sloppy lifestyles and exploitation economies, then there's no point in doing it, because you have not solved the problem. All you've made is a special little tasty cake for the rich, because people aren't going to be terribly productive in virtual reality. Alright, it is not a place you can glean profit from these individuals in virtual reality. So the only people that are going to be there are going to be on some privileged class list. It's not going to be a place for the human race, it's going to be a place for privilege. So fuck it. Alright, no point in doing it then. And you won't be solving the real world problems. If you're not going to clean up the disease and the horror and the mediocrity that is a product of the insufficient distribution of resources and just the hostility of attempting to create a graceful life in an ungraceful nature. If we're not going to deal with that problem, then fuck it. There's no point in having virtual reality at all. I don't think it can be built. It's not going to be built by capitalism, because they're not going to be able to make there's no profit to be made off people in virtual reality, damn it. You can't sell them potato chips. So capitalists aren't going to be interested in taking the steps that need to be taken to get this done. So this is something that's going to have to be a commitment by the human race, and they're going to have to say, yes, we understand this is a better, safer place for consciousness to exist. They'll either make that decision or not make that decision. I say by a consensus majority, whatever it would be, 70%, and that's just the way it's going to have to be. But you cannot, unless you have strict limits on people just replacing their own population outside of virtual reality, you cannot allow human beings to exist outside of it, because they will create the same shithole they created this time. They'll make the same fucking mistakes, they'll play the same stupid games, and there's no point then. There's absolutely no fucking point then. Virtual reality is a solution to problems. It is not, the goal isn't to create some kind of perfect land for the privileged. That's not a rational goal.
Put into VR anything humans don't already know, that humans have never experienced. Okay.
Yeah, you can put in the reservoir of information will be. No human being has read every book. No human being has watched every movie. No human being has all knowledge. So there'll be plenty of knowledge for human beings to play with. The reservoir of human knowledge is extensive, and their creativity based on that knowledge, their capacity to create new knowledge out of that old knowledge, would be substantial. So it's just a canard to say we somehow need to dig real holes in the ground to understand, to model hole digging in virtual reality. Bullshit.
And that's important to me. That's the part of life that makes life worth living.
Yeah, well, that's the amazing part to me, because that part has absolutely nothing to do with any drive or desire that propels me through my life. You know, I really don't need those answers. If I'm living in a fairly perfect world, I really am not going to have any urgent need to understand how the system works so I can fix something. All right, I really don't need that task anymore. Okay, because it won't be about fixing anything anymore. It will be about exploring things.
All of the information and knowledge that you can have. You know, and you talk about things like all the bad smells of life. See, to me, that's ironic, because I know we have evolved to...
Yeah, well, what? You know, you're going to go back to this evolution crap. We're not evolving anymore, okay? Evolution is over in any progressive sense, okay? With the invention of the condom, it's no longer natural selection. It's no longer survival of the fittest, all right? That's not how the breeding machine is working anymore, and we've already been through this. So it's basic biology, all right? The evolution, positive evolution, constructive evolution has stopped. We're not going to grow bigger brains, and the intellectuals aren't going to do all the breeding. None of that shit is going to happen. So evolution is over, all right, for the human race. The only thing that's evolving now is ideas, understanding, intellect. That's it. Our knowledge is getting refined. We're becoming more enlightened, period. That's the game now, okay? It's about consciousness. It's not about this stupid physical fucking body.
I mean, garbage smells bad to us. It doesn't smell bad to...
Oh, duh. You know, I mean, whether it smells good or bad to maggots is irrelevant to this question. The question is, we know where we acquired our consciousness. We know the device that gave it to us, which is a DNA molecule. All right? It didn't give it to us because it was a magnificent gift. All right? It gave it to us because it was another fucking tool in the survival of the fittest, whoever's got the biggest club bullshit game. All right? And that's it. That's our origins, and that would be our future unless we decide to have a better future. Evolution is shit. We can evolve nowhere. The only place we can do is recognize that we have a consciousness, and that a consciousness is built out of this thing called need, and that what we have to do is find some efficient and decent way to satisfy that need, and to satisfy it substantially, not to leave, you know, billions of it in the real fucking world living in dirt and shit.
It is a torture for us, just like being able to feel pain. This is something we have evolved to be able to do so that we can improve our conditions.
Yeah, right, and we don't need it anymore, do we? We really don't. And even the capacity to feel pain was put in there in some kind of idiotic manner, not in an intelligent manner. I mean, obviously, if you're dying of smallpox, it really doesn't do you any good to suffer through it. It doesn't do you any good to spend 3 days dying from a horrible disease. It'd be just better to press the unconscious button, and if the body's going to die, the body dies. But there's no point in the consciousness being tormented and tortured, okay? Because that's nature's fucking ethic. Nature doesn't know any better. We fucking know better. We have to be able to apply our knowledge. And if we keep resorting to this stupid god nature, this insidious, crazy-ass fucktard nature, all right, if we default to that, then we might as well take our brains out. We might as well just slip the card right the fuck out and drop it in the motherfucking toilet. Because our brains are worth nothing if we're going to use nature as the model of intelligence.
The VR will still have terrible smells as a way to help us, you know, in that environment.
Yeah, whatever. You want to talk about terrible smells, whatever. I'm not going to have any terrible smells, and why would I play a video game that smelled bad? There'd be no fucking point in it. All right, just smell a little bit off, maybe. It's a little off. Just a little off is fine. We can regulate the environment. We can regulate what extremes consciousness has to accept. It doesn't have to watch its children die. It doesn't have to watch horror take place before its eyes. Okay, it can be protected from that blinding ugliness. You know, and you keep talking like there's only this little life is just a little ugly. It's just a little inconvenient. Fuck you.
put everything mankind knows in a VR, and I'm not that impressed. I don't want to be limited to just what man knows. That's our fundamental.
Oh, yeah, well, what do you think? What is the big knowledge that we don't know? Like I said, that's the big joke is going to be on you, all right? Because you could spend the next fucking 100 years in reality, and I bet you're not going to unprove Darwin. You're not going to unprove the substance of Einstein. You're not going to change much. You might find out some little nuance about, oh, well, wormholes are blue on Thursdays. Big fucking deal. The game is up. The jig is up. We know where we came from. We know the biology. We know the fucking chemistry. The game is fucking over. Alright? This consciousness was created as a tool to keep this fucking genetic code in the game. Period. That's all. That's all it fucking is. And if it's going to be more than that, we have to make it more than that. But you're not going to make it more than that in that fucktarded natural fucking world, because that game is over. We know all we need to know about our creation and what we can accomplish here as a consciousness. That game is over.
Things that we both agree are unpleasant, to me, are not as negative.
Yeah, whatever. See, even your whole jargon is just disgusting. Oh, yeah, we can agree things are unpleasant. You know, really, it's not the unpleasantness that has me speaking this way. It is the absolute, abject, fucking goddamn horror. I mean, go visit a fucking nursing home, you dumb fucker. All right, spend some fucking time in there and take it to breathe in the horror, you dumb shit. And then come back to me and talk about something that's just unpleasant.